Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Close friends and associates have continued to mourn media mogul and business magnate late High Chief Raymond Dokpesi, who passed away recently at the age of 71. The late Dokpesi, who pioneered digital broadcasting in Nigeria, is remembered as a man of many parts.
There has been a huge outpouring of national grief following the demise recently of a distinguished Nigerian citizen. High Chief Raymond Dokpesi passed away on the 29th of May 2023 after a brief illness. Since then, the news of his death has continued to jolt many Nigerians. Vice President Kashim Shettima and his predecessor in office Namadi Sambo are particularly disturbed by the sudden exit of High Chief Dokpesi, which they describe as a huge loss to Nigeria.
It's my very good friend Raymond Dokpesi. At 71, he's at a relatively young age in the context of increased lifespan of humanity. And he was looking very robust, and healthy. May his soul rest in peace. He's my very good friend.
Receive the demise of our brother, our friend, with great shock and great sense of loss, not only for the family, not for the DA organization, but for the good people of Edo State and Nigeria in general.
It is no surprise that the entire country mourns the exit of an icon whose struggles through life continue to inspire many, even in death. Born on the 25th of October in Ibadan, Oyo State, without a sheltered background, High Chief Dokpesi worked very hard to succeed in life. On completion of a doctorate in marine engineering at the University of Gdańsk, Poland, Dokpesi worked briefly and returned to Nigeria to co-found the Africa Ocean Lines, the first indigenous shipping line in Africa, with Alhaji Bamanga Tukuru, the late MKO Abiola, and Shehu Musa Yaradua. As an astute businessman, he had taken advantage of the deregulation of the broadcast industry in the early 1990s to launch Ray Power FM in 1994, which is Nigeria's first privately owned FM station. 2 years later, in 1996, he established Africa Independent Television, AIT, which became Africa's first satellite television. Governor Godwin Obaseki remembers High Chief Dokpesi, the Wapawano of Agenegbode Kingdom in Edo State, for his pace-setting role in the Nigerian media industry.
His foray into television also gave a platform to project Nigeria, not only locally, but globally. And beyond that, gave the impetus to others to follow his trend he has started, which was that you could have successful private sector participation in media, particularly in television in Nigeria.
Since the sad event occurred, Nigerians from all walks of life have continued to throng the Abuja residence of late High Chief Dokpesi to condole with his family. High Chief Raymond Dokpesi was a politician who built bridges of friendship across the country. Until his demise, he was a chieftain of the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP), for which he worked extremely hard to unite at a time its fortunes began to decline after the 2015 general elections in Nigeria. Former Governor of Delta State Chief James Ibori and Professor Jerry Gana, a founding member of the PDP, remember High Chief Dokpesi as a dependable ally.
An incident happened in Asaba. Without knowing him, he stood firmly behind me because we were working together for the Tuko campaign. That's the kind of man he was. It doesn't have to know you. As long as you are suffering some form of injustice or oppression, he's someone who comes standing by you. And that was the hallmark of his life.
He's someone who takes friends very seriously. I remember him as we worked together within the party in a number of dimensions, how he would listen with tremendous respect, humility, and honor, and how he would stand by decisions taken very, very firmly. He was a person of integrity, consistently good.
High Chief Dokpesi was one of the leaders of the South-South People's Assembly, founded to launch a campaign for political inclusion of the South-South geopolitical zone in the mainstream of Nigerian politics. The campaign eventually paid off when, for the first time in 2007, a vice presidential ticket was given to the hitherto politically marginalized region. That year, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, a former governor of Bayelsa State, was elected vice president of Nigeria and subsequently served as president for 6 years. Dr. Shedrack Akoloku, a close associate of the departed media mogul, described his boss as a staunch advocate of social justice who fought relentlessly for the political liberation of Nigeria's South-South geopolitical zone.
He became a Doyen. He was a pathfinder. He was a pace-setter. He took it as from whatever bits and pieces he learned from history and from former leaders to say, look, Nigeria must know what our conditions are. Those people didn't have media channels to tell the story of the Niger Delta. He had a channel that told the world the story, the true story of the Niger Delta, and that has remained so.
High Chief Dokpesi is celebrated in death for his immense contributions to nation building and the well-being of Nigerians, regardless of their ethnic and religious background. Through his media platforms, he gave voice to the voiceless and raised generations of professionals in the media industry. Producer of Inside the Niger Delta, Felix MAMODE AKUGHA, a former executive director news of AIT, is one of many seasoned broadcasters who made their mark in the Dar family.
He was a father, he was an employer, he was a confidant, a close friend, a dependable ally. He was everything. And he had a unique relationship with people who worked with him, that there was no employer-employee relationship. I've been so pained because I was with him 2 weeks ago. I spent 2 straight nights with him, lasting into the wee hours of the morning. In fact, the last night I was with him up till about 2 a.m. in the morning. We talked and talked and talked and talked. And he told me, Felico, that's how he calls me, I'm 80% recovered, you know, and to get the call that this was what had happened was a huge shock to me, because I thought we had passed the worst, and he was on the way to becoming his old self again.
As it is often said in the Anglican tradition, the man can only be remembered for what he has done. Adieu, High Chief Raymond Dokpesi.
Inside the Niger Delta.